Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's up, guys? We're here in the lobby, foyer, rotunda, whatever you want to call it, area. That is the running joke here at these landscape events. I always put a weird name on where we're sitting. But what would you call this, Jeremy?
Foyer.
Foyer. That's what the Canadians said yesterday. So I guess you're a little too far south for where you're supposed to be. But guys, it's super excited to come to you today. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings. Obviously, we are sitting in Cape Coral, Florida, for the Landscape Revenue Intensive. Huge thanks to those folks for putting on this amazing event. This is the sixth one in 12 months. So I think we're caught up. We're on like a good quarterly schedule now moving forward. So I'm excited to see what comes. We have Jeremy Talboy with North Georgia Landscape Management. I'm excited to be here with you, buddy. You're right outside of Atlanta, not far from home. You're about 2 hours from me. So I've loved seeing your stuff grow in the last couple years, and you just kind of sharing your journey, documenting along the way. It's one of those things. You're one of the first that most larger companies, right? They build companies, but they don't ever build social along the way. Yeah. They have a massive landscape company.
That's a mistake.
You have no idea who they are, though. And so now it's like, okay, well, hey, this dude's got a good company. He's growing the social, so that's cool to see. So tell me a little about yourself, man. I don't think we haven't had you on the show yet. So if anybody doesn't know who you are, just kind of introduce yourself and walk through what we got going on. Look at the team members coming out here hanging out.
Operational excellence.
Yeah, I hear you.
He'll be your next guest.
All right.
Ask him about all the fires he puts out every day.
You just keep him alive, it sounds like.
That's it.
But it is. It's cool to see bringing teams down here into Cape Coral. A lot of people are doing that. So, man, walk us through what is business to you? How long have you been in business?
Yeah.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah, so I started in the end of 2010 when I got out of college. My plan.
Wow, what a time to start a landscape company.
Yeah, right in the middle of kind of towards the end of the recession. And so funny you bring that up because my dad, I was getting close to graduating, and he was like, "All right, what's your plan after college? Life after college?" And I was originally going to be a baseball coach and a history teacher, high school level, and I started kind of wanting to become an entrepreneur, right? I wanted to build some wealth. I wanted to build something that I could pour my heart and soul into and dive into head first and take a shot at building something great.
Yeah.
With, that little safety net that if it didn't work out, I'll just go back and be a teacher. So anyways, like, what are you going to do? What's your plan? Have you started applying to any high schools, whatever? And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to start a company instead. And he was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, it's American dream, right? Take a shot, believe in yourself. And he believed in me, I mostly because I'm his son, not because I did anything great I was kind of a loser, typical video games and staying out too late and sleeping in too late and all that stuff. So I'm very blessed that he believed in me. Helped me. He co-signed on a truck and a mower and told me I got 30 days to make the payment. And if I missed a payment, then it was all going back. And that was kind of the moment I realized that this is real.
There's no backing out now.
Yeah, so my roommate in college that I played baseball with also, he was a graphic design major, and he ripped out this quote or this logo real quick. I came up with a name, ripped out the logo, and I'm like, hey, his name's Kevin. So, Kevin, imagine the side of a box truck, right? So, the colors I came up with because the dude that sat in front of me in Spanish class always wore a Tampa Bay Rays hat.
No
backwards.
way.
So it was a navy blue hat with the Columbia blue and a little bit of like a yellow sun. And so I told Kevin, I said, hey, man, those are the colors I want. Imagine a hat, imagine a box truck, and draw me something cool. And this was the first design he came up with, and I stuck with it, and people compliment me all the time on it.
Yeah.
About how clean it is, how classy it is, how it fits well, how it frames well. So kudos to Kevin on that. But so anyway, started doing maintenance end of 2010, right? Coming out of a recession. And my dad's like, are you sure you want to do this? And I told him, I said, look, and I was just kind of just talking, you know. I'm not sure I believed in myself as much then as I do now. But I said, hey, man, if I can make it through this, I have a fallback plan. I have a safety net, right? I can go back and teach, whatever. But if I can make it through this, I think it'll be smooth sailing, you know, if I can make it through the next 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
And, you know, for whatever reason, he believed that. And we went and got the equipment, and I never missed a payment. And then, so I was just kind of cutting grass, residential, going door to door, built up a little book of business, local residents, and, you know, some people that had some investment properties around town. People really liked me, but I was a terrible landscaper. Honestly, I mean, I never really had any experience. I never worked for a landscape company.
Yeah.
I never even really cut my own grass, so I didn't know what I was doing. Funny story, I told this on a podcast the other day. I didn't even know what an edger was when I started my company. Think of that, dude. Think of that.
That's
I'm
funny.
sitting here with this big, successful landscape company, and when I started it, I didn't even know what an edger was. Like, I would drive by these yards, I'm like, dude, that is so tight. Like, how do they do that? Yeah. And honest to God, hand to God, I thought they just flipped the damn mower over, right, and just went, like, along the curb, and so that was, like, my first technique.
This is proof that you can do anything in America,
and
folks.
That's exactly right. I tell people that all the time. Like, if I can do it, you guys can do it, because most of the people that I compete with are the people that are in this room, or, you know, other business owners, whatever. At least, you know, they're like, oh, I started cutting grass in middle school. You know, they understand.
They know what an edger is,
the trade, right? They might not understand business, but they understand the trade.
Which is common, by the way.
I didn't understand either of them when I started. I just threw myself into it. And sometimes, you know, that's what it takes, man. Just dive in head first. And that's what I did. So I got lucky, and a good friend of mine had a friend of his that he introduced me to, and they did property preservation for foreclosed houses. Again, middle of the recession, towards the end of the recession, you know, $4.75 for gas. There was a lot of foreclosures. So I got this little portfolio of foreclosures, and that, I remember the first check I got for the first month of service. It was flat rate. It was like $47 for a single family house and $150 per cut for some sort of anything that was considered commercial. Big, small, whatever, somewhere in between. First check I got from them was like $3,500. It was more money I've ever seen in my life. It was great. It was great. So that kind of, you know, catapulted me into, hey, let's spend some money on marketing and let's grow this thing. And then 2014, 2015, somebody told me, hey, man, maintenance pays the bills and installs buys the toys.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, hell, I want toys.
Yeah.
You know, like, I got the bills paid because back then I had no overhead. So let's start buying some toys. So then I started researching how to, you know, sell install jobs. We started with some little paver patios, some rip and replace, some mulch jobs, stuff like that. I got lucky and, you know, met some people, met a little group of subcontractors that had a dingo, had a bobcat, had a truck, had all the tools. And started landing a couple jobs from my maintenance customers, and found out that that's where the money is.
Yeah.
You know? So that's where Georgian Landscape Design comes in.
Okay.
So I created North Georgia Landscape Management with the idea that I wanted to do everything eventually and build this big enterprise. And then I started doing install work, and one of the first jobs that I had was a buddy of mine, and he had it was a 3-course modular block wall. So whatever that is, 1.5 feet, 2 feet maybe. And he was like, hey, I need to get a landscape architect to do this. Would you be interested? I guess he thought I was an architect. And I'm like, I mean, I'll come give you a quote, whatever. So I go over there, a good friend of mine from high school. I take the measurements, take the pictures, and he's like, yeah, we want an architect to design this. And I'm like, his name's John. I'm like, John, what the hell are you thinking about? Like, what, an architect for this? Like, you need a stamp?
Yeah, it's
like,
a 3-foot wall.
You understand what this is going to cost you to get an architect? I think he was confused. So anyway, that was my first real opportunity, and there was a local magazine, Swanee Magazine, and the first page of the Swanee Magazine, and it was just to profile businesses, local businesses, right? There was always a column, and it was written by a dude named Ed, and it was the opening to that edition. And at the bottom, he would sign it, Ed Sesniak, owner, Georgian Landscape Design. So when my buddy was like, we want an architect, I'm like, well, how the hell am I going to do this? I don't know any architects. So I opened up that magazine. I found his name. I researched him. I got his phone number, and I called him. And he was like, hey, well, it was like 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. He's like laughing, right? You don't need a damn architect for that. But he was like, hey, are you hungry? He's an older guy.
Yeah.
He's close to 70 when I met him. I'm like, yeah. He's like, let's go down to we lived right next to each other. Let's go down to the Mexican restaurant and we'll talk. And he became my mentor after that. Ed taught me a lot of things. So he had his design build company. We had some tacos. He told me everything about, needing an architect, not needing an architect, whatever. So we ended up doing this job. And by the grace of God, he was a retired IBM, Deloitte sort of business person, sales guy. And he created Georgian Landscape Design just to keep himself busy. Well, he was, a one-man band. Mm-hmm. He didn't spend anything on marketing. Everything was word of mouth. He had a great reputation, 20 years in the business, doing $300,000-$400,000 a year. And he had a subcontract crew. By, again, the grace of God, fate, when I called him, he took me to lunch, and he was like, so do you have a crew? And I said, absolutely. I don't really have any work, but I got these guys saying, hey, we'll do all the stuff if you can sell it. Because they left their current company, and they had all the machines. And Ed said, well, funny, my crew that I've been running with for 20 years, they sold a job of their own, and it's going to be 6 to 8 months, so I have no crew. And I was like, well, that's fantastic.
How convenient.
Let's work together.
Yeah.
And our values aligned. We're very customer-centric, do right by your customer, build a reputation, all that stuff that you hear people say. So our values aligned, and we just hit it off, and we rolled together for, 2014 to 2020, 2021. And then he ended up moving to Charleston, became a grandfather. And I'm like, Ed, you need to just go spend time with your grandkids. It's your first grandchild, and you're 70 years old. Go, I got it. And so eventually I kind of absorbed that brand. I helped build it from, again, when I met him, we were doing $400,000 a year. By the time he left, we were doing close to $5 million, and it was because I was taking all of my side of the deal.
Yeah.
Right? We became partners, unofficial, but we kind of split everything 50-50, and I just took my portion of everything and put it into marketing, got an office, answering the phones and all that stuff, and it really blew up. So it went from, a small little word-of-mouth type of operation to an actual legit brand, local brand that was trusted with presence. So it blew up into this bigger enterprise, and I run it under my umbrella, but I keep the brand, right? Mm-hmm. It was around 20 years before me.
Yeah.
So really good
reputation.
No need to change that. Right. So there's that. NGLM does all the commercial maintenance now, and then capital projects for the multifamily side, the HOA side, and then GLD, Georgian Landscape Design, still does all the residential design build.
Yeah.
So all the pools, all the, the big backyard remakes, and we focus on those high-ticket backyard remodels, full construction stuff. And now we have the opportunity to move into other markets. I've talked to you off the record before about the power of the apartments and multifamily, because when you make a good relationship in Atlanta with a regional manager, the next logical question is going to be, are you in Birmingham?
Yeah.
Are you in Orlando? Are you in Nashville? Are you in Charlotte? Because we need some more vendors in these markets because it's growing rapidly, so on and so forth. So the ability to scale is there on the commercial side, especially the multifamily side. So that's where I'm at now, where I have these clients that we've been working with for several years, and basically saying, hey, if you could set up shop in X market, we have a little book of business that we can immediately, I wouldn't say guarantee, but definitely offer to you. And if everything aligns, then you have a opportunity there. So the reason I bring that up is now I can't have, let's say, Charlotte is my first target. I can't have North Georgia Landscape running around Charlotte.
Yep.
Everybody be like, what the hell's that? So I created a third brand a couple years ago when I knew that this was on the horizon, and it's called Haven Outdoors. So that is going to be every other market.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to keep NGLM for Atlanta because I've built such a brand
name
and a presence. I mean, unless I really spend a lot of time transitioning and getting everybody to understand that this company is now that company. But I don't really see a reason to do that. You see these bigger families of companies like Yardneek. They got all these different brands underneath them.
Yeah.
And they keep that brand presence. So I think I'm going to go that route. But I kind of toggle with it. I really love the name Haven Outdoors. And the logo is just fantastic. I came up with it in like 2018. And just haven't really moved on it because I'm still just in Atlanta. So, but it's been on the forefront of my brain for a long time. So that's kind of the story of all that stuff. We focus heavily on commercial maintenance because that's where your enterprise value is built, and that's how you can scale the fastest. And then in addition, all the enhancement and capital project opportunity that comes with those contracts. And then Georgian Landscape Design does all the residential design build. And then Haven Outdoors is going to be kind of the multi-market name.
So what has growth looked like since, 2020? Is it relatively quick? Has it been a slow growth to where you are now? Did you kind of stall at one point and then just shoot up from there?
Yeah.
And where are you at currently, by the way?
Yeah, so we're just under $9 million right now. I think 8.4, something like that. I'm the kind of guy that if it's $8 million and 1 penny, we're rounding up to $9 million, right?
That's right. That's the way to do it.
We're just under 8.38 or something, 8.4 million. So just under 9 sounds better. Started with zero.
Yeah.
Right? Started with no money, no nothing. So it's pretty cool, man. It's something I'm super proud of. But to answer your question, 2019, I decided I was getting out of the residential maintenance game because, it's just a real pain. Lots of complaints, and the money is just really not worth it. Like having clients that are just always so needy and so picky for a couple $100 a month. It's like I can deal with the same amount of
neediness and pickiness
for $10,000 a month. It's a no-brainer, right? But it's not an easy game to get into. It's not an easy nut to crack. But once you crack it, it's super cool. So 2019, I decided, hey, man, I'm going to get out of this, and we're going to go after commercial stuff, and that's actually thanks to my wife. My wife was a multifamily property manager, and she's like, how come you don't do commercial? We were dating at the time, which super blessed. I met her when I was broke. So a lot of my success is due to her because of this piece of advice. Not to mention she believes in me, which is super powerful. But she was like, hey, my mom is a property manager. I can introduce you to our regional manager. You need to get into commercial. And it just kind of opened my eyes to that. So we joined some networking groups and started throwing a bunch of resources at it. But then COVID happened. So I got zero traction.
Yeah, everything went backwards.
I signed up for everything. I'm going to sponsor this. And the initial investment was, I'm taking a guess here, but probably $30,000. $40,000 to get in all these groups.
That's easy. I can see, I've looked into it and done some stuff like that.
It's so worth it though, but it creates a barrier to entry, which means only a certain number of people can get into it, which limits the competition. But, it's one of those things. Once you get in, you're like, I should have done this sooner, but it's not easy. Anyway, so COVID stopped everything in its tracks. So I spent all this money and couldn't make a single relationship because nobody was meeting. I couldn't get in front of anybody. And then not to mention, they weren't taking bids anyway. They're like, dude, we don't know if the world's going to end.
Yeah, they were not looking at spending any money on grass.
Yeah, I'm not trying to bid out this contract. We're just going to go month to month until either the world ends or we come out the other side.
Yep.
So from 2019 to, I think, 2022-ish, when the masks came off and we can go to concerts again.
Yeah.
I was essentially, because I still renewed 2019, 2020, 2021, I renewed all my membership dues. And there was some online stuff, some webinar stuff, but you can't. It's hard to sell. It's hard to make a relationship.
It's not near the same, yeah.
So 2022 is really when it started on the commercial side, and it's 2026, so 4 years worth of just throwing everything I got at it.
Yeah.
And, you watch me on LinkedIn. That is a fantastic tool. I credit that for a lot of the success because people know who I am from that.
Yeah.
Right? And my LinkedIn connections are mostly, it's not other landscapers or anything. That's my Instagram side.
Yeah.
Right? LinkedIn is all my clientele.
Yeah.
So they see me all day, every single day. And like you were talking earlier, a lot of my competition doesn't do that. They haven't figured that out. They're old school, whatever the case may be. It's a huge advantage for me. So we've had a lot of success over the last 4 years, and I credit most of it to my use of LinkedIn and not being so shy like I used to be.
Yeah.
Because that's attention outperforms advertising any day of the week. And when you're posting like that, that's all you're doing. You're creating a buzz. You're creating attention.
Yep.
I wear my white hat everywhere, so everybody knows me. Like, brand recognition, right? The guy with the white hat. So, but to answer your question, 2022, 2023, we grew real fast. And then if you recall, on the design build side, that was going nuts during COVID. Maintenance stalled.
Yeah.
But design build
project-based work was
going my
crazy.
Goodness, everybody, you couldn't keep product on the shelf. We were literally raising our prices on a weekly basis because we were so booked out. I was booked out like 6 months with 11 crews, and we were like raising our prices on a weekly basis because we couldn't get people to say no.
Yeah.
There was stimulus money. People weren't going to work. They weren't going on vacation, so they're stacking bread, and they had to. They're like.
And everybody was staying home, so they want a nice landscape.
I want to look at something cool.
Yeah,
and I got $200,000. I'm like, well, I can make you something cool for $200,000. I promise you. So everything seemed like it was great, but I didn't understand. And I did, because I was taking all that money to help stimulate the NGLM growth on the commercial side.
Yeah.
Again, it's a big initial investment. And I was basically spare no expense. Make everything. I don't care about labor hours on site. I don't care about budgets. I don't care. Do what you got to do. Send as many guys as you need for as long as you need to make that property look A++.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to build my name.
Yeah.
Well, then the economy turned a little bit. The design build really fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like it was August of 2023.
Hit a wall.
And it was like, where's the approvals? All of a sudden, there's no approvals. And it was like, all right, lower our prices. We still couldn't get approvals. So that dropped off, which then exposed all the problems on the NGLM side.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have this money to cover up those issues, and plug those leaks. So then it became hey, we need to sit down and really start diving into our numbers, and we got to make this at least break even or close to it, because we can't rely on all this design build money anymore to cover up those mistakes. We can't outsell our problems.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So it was that's
a tough thing to learn.
I almost went bankrupt. I talk about it all the time. I mean, I was this close to bankruptcy. I got a call from all my vendors combined was about $1 million worth of debt, and I had no money in the bank. And it was all just labor money going out on the NGLM side that I could supplement easily, and I didn't even know that the problem existed. So
this was like 3 years ago, by the way. Let's not forget that. Like, that was not that long ago.
Yeah. So we did a deep dive. My wife came into the office, and we plugged every hole that we could for 6 or 8 months, and kind of turned that ship around just in the nick of time. It was a very dark time in my life, but it was awesome at the same time. It was forced. It forced me to be a business person.
Yeah, I want to press on that a little bit. Like that, literally my next question before you even said any of that was going to be, what are the dangers of going into the commercial maintenance game, right? And you just spoke on it. It's a very dangerous thing to do. You gotta have a good head on your shoulders if you're gonna do it, right? And I think that a lot of people just say, "Oh, let's go buy a bunch of mowers and throw some people at it and we'll figure it out," right? Like that's not the case, at all. And so, but what did you do? Like, as much as you want to share here, like, what did you do to get out of that? Are you out of it? Was it a process? What does that look like?
Yeah, I'm not out of it.
Yeah,
I'm not out of it. I'm close.
Yeah,
I see.
Like, what's the rebuild process look like? Like, how do you turn that ship around?
First thing you got to do is get on your knees and pray. And
yeah,
I did. I'm talking about, and I tell this story all the time. I'm not talking about, just sitting here and praying. I'm talking about locking yourself in a room where nobody's around, turning the lights off, getting on your knees, putting your head on your bed, and talking to God. And that just begging for, I wouldn't say mercy. I never asked for mercy. I asked for guidance, right? Give me how do I get out of this? I'm not trying to, God, I don't need you to get me out of it. I need you to help me get myself out of it. How do I, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. I just can't see it. I don't know what it is. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed for 2 weeks. And I'm talking about tears. Nobody saw me. Right?
Yeah.
So it was just me and God. And it became clear to me, right, that the first thing I needed to do was call all my vendors and face it head on. In a situation like that, you got two choices, man. You can either face it head on, or you can clam up and you can run.
Run fast.
You can run. You go to Mexico and set up on a beach or whatever the case may be, or just ignore their phone calls. Mm-hmm. And part of the guidance that I believe I was given through all that praying, that clarity, was, dude, just face it, man. Yeah. Like, you're $1 million in debt with them, but what does that tell you? That tells you that I'm valuable to them, right? So there's value in this relationship. There's value in there's going to be an interest on their end to see me get through this and succeed because of what's on the other side.
Yeah.
If
and they want their $1 million.
Well, yeah, but they want to continue.
But
working,
they want to keep the relationship
right?
working.
And they're huge. They have creative ways to get around that. So I did. One of my reps at Site 1 was like, "You're going to need to call this person in the credit department, and you're just going to have a conversation." And I was like, that was my plan. So I did, and it was a very good conversation, and we set terms, and I had to do that with 3 or 4 different vendors, and payment plans and all this that were reasonable to allow me to still continue operating and growing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
While making my payments, my obligations.
While still buying material from them. Like,
yeah, and the funny thing is when I got that call saying I was $1 million in debt, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's scary, man. That's
because
scary.
We had no systems and processes, hence why I'm here, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm in a much better position now than I was then, but still I'm just scratching the surface on how to build an organization, how to have a well-oiled machine, how to build clarity and alignment, and all the systems and processes that will take you from being a business to a company to an organization. Those are 3 different things, man. So I was able to have honest conversations with them, and they were very generous. And we're still working on it, but I was right at about $1 million in debt, and I'm down to about $250 now over 3 years. It's going a little bit slower.
Relationships restored.
Oh, absolutely. They were never tarnished because we didn't run.
Yeah.
We didn't run. Now, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I guess I was ready to run.
I guess a better phrase would be like trust built back, right? That's a bigger, like, you never lost a relationship, but there is trust to rebuild there, right? Whether 100%. You like it or not.
Yeah. And I had an honest conversation with him. I told him what the problems were. I told him how I got into this position. Again, I didn't have systems and processes.
You just
this is
face
what we're going to do. The silver lining to it was it forced me to be a business person. It forced me to look at this. It forced me to figure out what the problems were and then create the solutions and make sure that the systems and the processes were there so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So it's a great lesson. And I'm not sure I would have learned it otherwise. Sometimes you need a little bit of crisis, something catastrophic to open your eyes and push you in the right direction. So it sucks. It absolutely sucks, but I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be in this room today if it weren't for that problem. So, and I think I'm in a much better spot as a business owner, as a leader.
Yeah.
So we're almost out of it, man. But yeah, the trust thing, rebuilding the trust, all comes down to communication. Again, you can either run or you can talk to them. So then we talk. Cool. I owned up to it. We come up with something that's going to work. You need to pay X amount every month by this day. I can't make all those payments still to this day. Mm-hmm. But you have those choices every month. Some months it's easy. I make 2 payments, no problem. But the months that I don't have it, same situation. Do you run?
Exactly.
Here they are calling me.
Or you just can run it.
Or do you just talk to them again? Hey, I need another week. And it's amazing, again, because there's value in our relationship. Yep. They want me to continue being successful. They want me to continue being a partner with them for, the next 10, 15, 20 years. So they have interest in it. And they're just like, no problem. Please try not to be late. But
just communicate.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that is a great lesson for any part of your business, whether it's you talking to your clients, right? One of your guys throws a rock through a window. Do you run or do you just call them?
Yeah.
Right?
Beat them to it. Don't let them find
100%. And it takes a little while to learn that and understand that, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the benefits from running your business that way far outweigh anything that would come from having a rock thrown through, the $300 it takes to replace that window.
Yep, all day long.
So, yeah, man, it's been a wild ride. But, yeah, during that point, it was like, all right, we got to hit the brakes real quick. We got to do a deep dive into everything. We got to install systems and processes and change things and, who can order materials and so, change order systems, and because that was a big problem, right?
Man. Doing big design build work and not.
Yeah, and that was one
change
factor.
Orders are hard.
They're hard, right? You quote 15 step treads, and then it's like, we need 23. Well, I'm not paying for that. You know what I mean? Like, the customer has to pay for that, but then they don't want to pay for it because it's like, you're the professional. You should have known.
Yeah.
So we ended up going 2 years just giving away stuff that we weren't charging for. Yeah. That's a factor in how I accumulated all this debt.
Yeah.
So anyway, we changed all these things. We plugged all these holes, and that obviously took a hit on our top line and our bottom line. We went from $1 million to $5 million super fast, like a year and a half.
Wow.
And we went $5 million to $6 million, and then $6 million to $5 million, and then $5 million to $6.5 million. And so we kind of just plateaued there while we were fixing everything, and then it was 7.5 and 8.5. So now we're back on that. Everything's good.
Yeah.
And we actually have maintenance. I can't say it's profitable, but it's very close.
Yeah.
Where it was, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was probably losing 50%.
Wow.
Because, again, it was spare no expense. I'm trying to build my name, build my brand, get in this market and penetrate and become a key player. So I was throwing everything I had at it. But now we're very, very close. And I have 2 business development managers that are out there just creating relationships and fostering relationships and getting opportunities left and right. Now that everything is fixed, we can start selling again. So we're in growth mode again.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's kind of a cool story.
Yeah.
So hopefully I don't have to deal with any of that crap anymore.
That's amazing.
It was a blessing, man.
Yeah.
It taught me to be a business person.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we're sitting at 30 minutes here.
I ramble, man. You just ask me one question and I'll go.
You're good, dude. It's awesome. I am pumped to see what comes from NGLM in the next couple years, right? It's a big – what you said, first, thanks for saying that, right? A lot of people that resonated with, I guarantee it.
Sure.
They've been in that spot, and they think they're the only ones, right? They think they're alone. Mm-hmm. You're not alone. There's the people that have done it. There's the people that have been through
Everybody in this room.
Yep. And so you learn from your mistakes. You've learned what you did wrong, and now it's like, okay, how do we go be better, right? And so coming to an event like this helps you get there.
100%.
It's one day at a time, right? But it's a step in the right direction. Where can people follow you and keep up with you every day as you go and kind of, because you're documenting this journey pretty heavy.
Yeah, and I try to, a lot of people, they give you all the highlights. I like to give you the real stuff.
Yep.
Highlights, lowlights, everything in between, because like you said, a lot of your listeners and everybody else out there, they're going through trouble all the time, and they feel like they're alone. You're not. That's why I like to tell the story that I started with nothing. I made every mistake in the book. I almost lost everything. Like, it's not lost on me. I can relate to you. You can relate to me. So I do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. You follow me on LinkedIn, Jeremy Talboy. The stuff I put on LinkedIn is more geared towards my clientele, a lot of educational stuff. And then I have an Instagram page, landscape_tycoon, where I share a lot of educational stuff, a lot of business stuff, and a lot of the mistakes that I've made. And the cool thing about it is people chime in. I get a lot of messages. I get a lot of interaction. So on some of these videos, depending on what the topic is, you can just go through the comments and you'll be reassured that you are not the only one going through that problem. So it's a little community of itself, and it just, everybody's kind of helped. Now there's going to be some haters in there, and those are fun. Yeah. I just pull off the gloves and throw a haymaker at them real quick. But for the most part, most of the comments are very constructive, and everybody's just kind of, hey, well, this is what I charge, or this is how I do it. And, it just kind of helps everybody level up. So that is where I would recommend following me. I talk a lot about sales strategies and, hiring and firing and all that stuff. Whereas on LinkedIn, I'm more, broadcasting to my target clients and trying to get exposure and bidding opportunities. So
that's good stuff.
That's where I'm at.
Fantastic. Well, huge thanks to the Leanscaper team for having us out here in. I keep wanting to say Scottsdale because that's where we were last, but we're in Florida. Yeah. It's similar weather. It's a little warmer here, but I'm excited to see what the year holds for ourselves, for all the guys here at the event, and then yourself as well
thanks, man.
Over in Atlanta. So I appreciate you spending some time with me today, Jeremy.
Sure.
Guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a big comment, like, subscribe. I'll do all that stuff. Share it. If you're listening, do the same thing. Leave a rating and review. A 5-star is massive. That's how people see the show and they say, okay, this is actually worth someone listening to. So continue to come back and tune into some more stuff here for the rest of the year as we get into more growth and more exciting conversations with even more guests. So we appreciate you. We love you. We care about you. If I can help you in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. But without any further ado, guys, that's going to wrap this one up, and we'll catch you here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.